NASA's groundbreaking plan to create a lunar home. With the success of NASA's first unmanned Artemis flight, plans are afoot to further support human activity on the Moon. To achieve that, NASA has been extensively testing the SLS and Orion spacecraft. An important objective of the Artemis program is to establish a lunar base capable of supporting research and development. But how exactly does NASA intend to do that? Stay tuned to find out. But before we continue further, I would request you to subscribe to the channel. Thank you. One important aspect of the Artemis program is that NASA is not the only space agency in the thick of it. Instead, what we are seeing is a partnership between public and private space agencies, including SpaceX. SpaceX has been given a major task to design a human landing system through which humans would finally be able to land on the Moon. In addition, if Lunar Base is to become a reality in the coming years, then we have to come up with a more affordable form of space travel. SpaceX has been endeavoring to achieve just that. Its latest space vessel, Starship, is a reusable spacecraft, which will reduce the costs of space travel by a lot. One of the most inhibiting factors in space research are the costs associated with space travel, since rockets and vessels can be used for one time only. SpaceX has claimed to make a lot of progress in this regard, and if tweets from Elon Musk are anything to go by, then the company is very near to making a premier launch of Starship. One of the most significant challenges associated with Starship is re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. The levels of heat are enough to compromise the integrity of the hull of the spacecraft. In addition, SpaceX will also have to design human landing systems, gas pipelines, and vehicular spacesuits. It is estimated that Artemis 4 program, scheduled in 2027, will eventually make use of the human landing system. But how will NASA transport astronauts to the Moon in the first place? SpaceX has resolved that issue for NASA. Starship is the world's largest rocket, and is quite a comfortable lodging for these astronauts. But this is not a long-term solution, and NASA will have to come up with a lunar base that will be self-sustainable. Yes, you heard that right. This lunar base will be self-sustained. The lunar base will house 4 astronauts for a month. On top of it, NASA will also have a robotic presence at the lunar base. But back to making the lunar base sustainable. How does NASA plan to make a sustainable lunar base in the first place? NASA has designed a project to bring this concept to reality. Through the Lunar South Pole Oxygen Pipeline, pure oxygen will be transported from a production source to a storage plant located on the Moon. NASA has even come up with a process through which pure oxygen can be produced. The process is called molten regolith electrolysis, or MRE. Through this process, electrolysis will be used to extract specific elements out of lunar dust. Interestingly enough, oxygen can be found easily in lunar dust. This oxygen will be used in the lunar base, as well as in pressurized rovers, as well as the oxidized propellant for launch vehicles departing the lunar base. The gas pipeline would be 5 kilometers long to collect all these infrastructures. The lunar pipeline would provide a flow rate of 2 kilograms per hour. This means that the lunar base would be supplied with a total oxygen of 10,000 kilograms per year. Again, for these technologies to work on the Moon, there needs to be a public demonstration of this technology in the first place by 2024. Artemis astronauts will be given this support in 2026. To that effect, NASA has already awarded a contract of $57 million for developing the lunar surface construction system. These systems will be a 3D printed habitat, which will be modeled on the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. This structure has a 1,700 square foot structure, which will be used by NASA astronauts for training purposes. The company behind this construction effort, Olympus, is preparing NASA astronauts for long-duration trips. The Olympus system is designed to produce a multi-purpose construction system. This system will be self-sustaining in the sense that it will use lunar and Martian resources. This is a groundbreaking project since it is not dependent on getting construction materials from Earth. Developing indigenous resources saves so much money and makes the entire project very cost-effective. We talked earlier about the process through which construction materials can be shaped, but the construction itself will be handled by a 3D printing robot. The regolith will essentially mix resin like a chemical, which will be baked from UV radiation from the sun. This is the same material used for curing dental casings. However, due to these construction efforts, as with construction on any project, there will be a lot of dust. Moon will be covered in a lot of dust. It is estimated that through the launch of Starship, 1 million pounds of surface particles will be kicked off the surface. Using rovers and pressurized vehicles will also result in dust. One way of minimizing dust is to lay down launching pads, which would minimize human footprint. Habitable environments would also be extended to NASA's new mobile platforms, which means that these vehicles could support life without people needing life-supporting astronaut suits. Having an independent life support system is a first for NASA. This would mean that NASA astronauts, for the first time, could conduct mining operations without being exposed to life-threatening elements. This brings our video to a conclusion. When do you think we will be able to establish a lunar base? Feel free to comment down below. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you found something of value. Thanks for watching till the end. See you in the next one.